Hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to Outward. I am streaming early today. Let's see. Yep, and then this real quick. There we go. I'm streaming early today because, well, for those in America, there's a holiday coming up tomorrow, and that means that people are celebrating early, including me, and I will be gone at my normal Friday streaming time today. So I figured I would get myself up earlier in the day and stream. I'm running off of like about 5 hours of sleep, but that's okay. Because who needs sleep when you have video games? So last time in Outward, we started the Three Brothers DLC. And it definitely drained my bank account for sure. Which honestly, it's kind of cool. I am not really upset with that DLC. I'm actually enjoying having to rebuild the town and actually being able to build it the way I want. I made comments in my last video. I do wish that there was a way to like at least salvage or do something with the other location. Not because, you know, I wanted to be more expensive or anything like that, but because it's kind of just a cool mechanic in general, at least to me. I like that type of stuff. So, after trading, like, literally everything that I could trade, well, okay, after trading what I could trade, because the merchants there, you know, there's like one merchant that I found, other than the traveling caravan guys. And that was the giant at the like sauna that they have there, and he didn't have much silver. He had like 300 silver. So after trading with him, I realized that I wasn't gonna have the money to do what I needed to do. So I traveled back to Berg, and now that I'm here, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make more money. I have a ton of mana stones. Like, I'm probably not going to use all these mana stones. I was using them for pressure plate traps, making fire stones and stuff, and I can make cold stones with them too. But I want to see, I'm trying to look, I should have, yeah, 13 horror chitin. Trying to remember what it was for the horror bow. Because my horror bow should be worth quite a bit, but the problem is you need a war bow, and that costs a bunch of money anyway. Hey there. If I like, oops, undo my bow here, and I go to sell this, it's worth 750. So like, that's cool, but it's just not really worth the, like, the warbow cost. The warbow is like 1,000 to make that thing. So what I need to do is look through my inventory and see what things I can craft that makes sense. You know, stuff that I'm gonna be able to actually sell. Like, this is flintlock pistol, 2 occult remains, and a crystal powder. I have no idea if the bone pistol's worth anything, but it looks like it does decent damage. But I mean, it's a pistol. I don't use pistols. I should check this real quick. That gives it about a warning, about a minute warning. Okay, let's let me do this real quick. I gotta update the message. We'll start in 60 seconds. I'm gonna update this real quick, and then do this. Cool. Yeah, I'm just updating the bot that I have for ad timer stuff. I thought it was 60 seconds, but I wanted to make sure for the ad break. So Yes, there will be a Twitch ad break. We're not doing anything other than looking at crafting, so... And you know what? Actually, real quick, I should update the bot once again. The second message, it doesn't make sense. It's redundant to say that ads support the stream, so... Let's change this. I like most of what this base message is real quick. Do this. Boom. Duration, I want that. Okay. Once again, there. Okay. Sorry for messing with the bot so much. I'm just trying to make it the experience better for the rest of the stream. I figure it's early enough. I may not have anybody watching right this second anyway. So I figure now's the best time to mess with it. So YouTube people, you're going to be confused for a minute, but hopefully the pop-up, you'll see the chat stuff. It's just me messing with stuff. Okay, anyway. Let's see. So coral horn bow. I don't have a coral horn, and I don't really think it's that great. Probably not worth that much money. Let's see. In terms of weapons, we got the fang weapons, which really aren't going to be worth that much. Those gold lich knuckles look weird. Golem rapier, there aren't any sword golems in this region. Horror armor. I see. So, like, annoying thing. I've mentioned this before. I love that the DLC that, what's it called? The Soroborian DLC. I love that DLC. I think it's a really good DLC. But my problem with it, again, is the lack of integration. And I know I've mentioned this, so I'm not going to talk about it too long. But, like, pure chitin is something you only get from the Soroborian DLC. Horror chitin and palladium scrap and half plate armor, all found in the base game. And these come from the special scourge beasts that they have in that region. I sort of understand lore-wise why those things aren't maybe over here, because the Soroborian Harmattan area got hit really bad with that plague, and so, like, maybe they have different forms of horrors. But then at least allow me to buy pure chitin from someone. Especially the caravan guys. It'd be cool if they really if they sold that, even if it was a really high price. Palladium wristbands and 2 horror chitin. That's not hard to make. The horror fists, which are actually probably worth some. Fang club plus this. Okay, that's actually something. Hang on. I don't think I know how to make the Fang Club, but I'm pretty sure I can figure that one out. It's more than likely, probably either the club or the mace. I would assume it's an iron weapon since the other ones are iron weapons. So it's probably the mace plus predator bones plus a cloth. And if we can make the Fang Club, which we should be able to do with some of the predator bones and stuff we find in this region. Then again, obsidian bow isn't hard to make either. I should be able to sell that, I think, for a decent amount. Neither is the obsidian great axe. That's not too bad. Or the mace. In fact, the mace doesn't even require... The great mace doesn't even require a weapon base. Let's see, what else we got? Shiv dagger doesn't really matter. If I get a brutal axe, I can make this thing. So I guess I should see what... I have a lot of thorny cartilage, so if I can make a thorny claymore, then I think we'll be good. So I just need an iron claymore.
Hey there.
There's an iron mace. Oh, yeah. I'll be able to make basically anything I want. Iron claymore. Blacksmith's vintage hammer. I really want to buy that. I don't remember seeing that before. It feels like a waste because I'm trying to get the money and I'm not going to use this, but I'm getting it. Whatever. I think let's go with this for now. We have predator bones, that's fine. I don't think this hammer does anything. It's a one-handed hammer. I want it though because I'm a hoarder, and I wonder if you can make something cool with it. Like, more unique than the others. It's 300 silver. That's a lot, but hopefully I can make something cool with the stuff I just bought. So we need thorny cartilage, which I should have a bunch of. Yeah, 25. What was it? 2 for that. And then palladium scrap, I got a bunch of. And I've got a bunch of gems too. Well, not a bunch, but I got sapphires and aquamarines I can get rid of. I can take the giant hearts maybe to the ash giants, but those are in the marsh and I'm not going to be up there for a bit. Thorny cartilage and palladium, right? Where's the palladium? Right there. This is why hoarding things is nice. Thorny claymore. And if we go get some predator bones, I could probably make that spike or that fang club, and then I should be able to make the horror mace pretty easily. So we'll just stash the iron mace for now. And let's see what this thorny claymore is worth.
Hey there.
113. Okay, I mean, it's good. Like that's not the worst thing. Is that worth it? Basically, I'm making like 93 silver in profit, and I'm using some of the thorny cartilage and palladium I have. I mean, unless I need that for anything, that stuff is just rotting away in my storage, so I don't see why I wouldn't.
This worries me.
He doesn't sell anything. Obsidian shard, that's worth 80. I think I go out and I get some bandits. I'll go farm some enemies. We got like ghosts, we got bandits, we got some obsidian guys. If we clear out Enmerkar, we should be able to get some more materials and generic weapons. Like there's bandits up ahead already, unless they die, but I don't think so. And one's already got a shield and a mace, which is already 2 crafting components. So let's see what this is all about. Don't move. He moved. He moved some more. There we go. Jerky, arrow, travel ration, mushroom bar, 4 travel rations. All that stuff's fine. And I'm at a point now where I'm so leveled up that I'm not really concerned about whatever I end up fighting in this region, which is nice. The obsidian whatchalls would be like elementals and whatnot would be annoying.
Greetings, friend.
Master Trader hat. It's the last piece of that armor I don't have. Tempting, good sir, tempting, but I really shouldn't, so I won't. Hey, we got some coral horns up ahead. And a salt crystal, okay. Honestly, I should go to the burning tree and get myself a bunch of like petrified wood, because I can make armor with that. Though that costs me money to have it crafted, it is probably not worth that much to like resell back. Okay, I think he'll fall over soon. And then I could buy or find a recurve bow and make the coral horn bow pretty easily. So that's always an option too, if I just naturally find something. Do I have food on me that I want to eat? I did find a piece of jerky, so I should probably eat a piece as I'm exploring and stuff. Oh, there's a chest right here. Hello. Another shield. Jerky. Okay. And the stuff for an endurance potion. Wildly. Oh, look, more coral horn. Okay, hello. War Thunder Grind never stops. Love your name. And thank you for the kind words on the Subnautica videos. Welcome, welcome. How you doing today? I'm glad you're enjoying them. I'll get back here. There we go. If you care to, what was your favorite one that you've seen? It seems like my randomizer ones aren't hitting off so well, so I think I'm gonna put a pause to those. They're not doing as well as I hoped they would. People are less interested in alternate start randomizers, I guess. I'm doing all right. I don't usually stream at this time of day because, well, I usually have things going on or whatnot, but I'm streaming at this time of day today because it's a holiday weekend in the US. I don't know where you're from, but US holiday, so I'm gonna be busy quite a bit. And starting at about noon my time, which is in roughly 3 hours, I'll be heading over to some family's house to hang out with them and kind of celebrate the holiday. Should drink some water here. The one where I didn't eat was your favorite. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing another one like that. That was a tough one for sure in its own way. That run didn't take very long to do, minus the failed attempts. The failed attempts really it was a little bit of a shame drowning in a hardcore run and losing everything. Especially when I would take about 4 to 6 hours to get to that point. So yeah, that one was pretty tough. I could do you don't drink anything. I feel like that one will be kind of the same thing though, but easier. Because you have the snack machine and food doesn't drain as fast, so you don't have to worry about your food component as much as your water. You'll start taking health damage earlier, but that was never really the issue. It was more, yeah, the health damage mattered when I was taking double health damage, basically, was the problem. So I feel like if I did no water, it's kind of the same thing, but maybe a little on the easier side. I don't know unless I really try, I guess. I do plan on doing it someday. I just don't know when. You're from Germany. Well, hello to my German friends. They're playing Subnautica Hardcore right now. Nice, nice. Do you do any sorts of fun challenges on your Subnautica playthroughs for yourself? That's the thing about my channel, is a lot of this stuff I would just do, like, on my own. I'd be like, I feel like playing Subnautica, but I know that game too well, so what do I do? And I'll be like, well, maybe I'll just, like, not use this vehicle, or, you know, no base, or something. You know, like, I do that type of stuff. A lot of those double down, like, if you're not gonna have a base, then you kind of can't have vehicles either. Have fun with mods. Yeah, I mean, that's completely valid too. I do enjoy my Subnautica mods, but mostly quality of life things are what I look for. I don't play without EasyCraft. I gotta have that whole pull resources from lockers and stuff. That is like my #1 favorite quality of life thing. And I think that's mostly because pretty much every type of survival game these days has that built in. Like, that's just kind of a standard feature these days. Whoa, I've never gotten that before. That must be a rare drop. What's your favorite mod to run on Subnautica? I think my next video for Subnautica might be Return of the Ancients. Because I did the one Blossom run, but that was gonna be explore that DLC with the Blossom, but it just didn't work out. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna do like a real playthrough of it, like I did with Red Plague. But I don't know if Return of the Ancients really has like an ending. Red Plague had a very nice cutoff where they started playing credits and stuff where they were like, yeah, this is what we got so far. Thanks for playing this much. And I feel like Return of the Ancients might be one of those that just like doesn't tell you when it's over. Because having played a bit with it installed in my world, there doesn't really seem to be like quests or a real plot to it. It just seems like the demo is really just, hey, the gargantuan's in the game, and some of the like assets that we're going to use are in the game. But I also don't really watch any Subnautica YouTubers because every time I watch somebody do something cool, then I don't get to do that cool thing. So I like to do it myself. $72 mods. Whoa. I have mods where the floating fish gets a hat. Oh my god. I have so many I don't know what my favorite one is. That's fair. I don't mod that heavy really into most of my games. I enjoy my mods, but I don't think I really enjoy them on that level. For me, I really like vanilla gameplay because it just runs well. Not that floating hats is gonna cause any problems, but you know, like, I hate when my game crashes because there is some weird incompatibility, and I've played too many games with friends where we've run mods and the game just dies and like bricks the entire save or whatever, and you've just got to restart. There's no option. But I do like small quality of life things because they don't tend to be unstable, and then, you know, they are, well, nice quality of life. I'd be happy to receive a video of the Red Plague. Archon and Echelon are vehicles where you need 3 to 4 other mods to work. Yeah. That's not like that makes sense. When I guess when I think about mods, I don't really include the dependencies that add like a lot of libraries and code to the game, because those don't really make your game unstable. Those are there for other mods to work. Yes, they are mods, but they're they're like background processes that just kind of allow other things to work. When I run a modded playthrough of Subnautica, I'm running like 10, but really it's only like 1 or 2 major ones. And I guess by major, it's not even that major. It's stuff like EasyCraft. But like that's something that you can like feel in the gameplay that you interact with all the time. Where the libraries you kind of don't. They just are there for those mods to work. Oh, if you're English, I mean, that's fine. It can be... English is not an easy language to learn. I don't know any other languages, so I know I have to applaud just about everybody for attempting to do English. Ow. I studied Spanish for 2 years in school. I didn't really follow through with that. Not that I was planning on it, but I probably should have, because the US has a lot of Spanish speakers. In fact, some states in the United States are no longer majority, like, white people. Just because of how many immigrants we get. Certain counties in the US have more of a foreign population than a native population. So I feel like I should learn it so that I could, you know, exist in my own country. There are places in Florida where everything is just Spanish because of all the Cuban immigrants that have come over the years. They even have a like area of Florida called Little Cuba. Yeah, I don't think German's the easiest language to learn either. Part of me has that fantasy where if you've ever watched any like action movie where, you know, like whatever, the main character is like a secret agent or whatever, a hitman, it's very fun when they can speak like 7 languages. I love watching those types of movies, and there's part of me that's like, I want to be that guy. I want to sit down in a cafeteria full of people speaking whatever and completely understand what they're saying, and they think I don't. The messages arrive 18 to 19 seconds later. I think that's normal. It's fine. It also kind of depends on when I actually look down and read it. We're gonna have an ad break on Twitch in a minute. That won't affect you. $10 fire damage and 31 physical damage. Okay, that's just kind of cool. I'm gonna put that away. So for the Red Plague, you mentioned you like want a video of the Red Plague. I made a Red Plague video if you didn't see it. I don't know if that's what you were asking though. But I want to make a Return of the Ancients video kind of like that one, where I just play through it and like kind of give a review on it. See, that's sort of the thing. I don't necessarily want my channel to be a review channel, but I'm not against reviewing things either. I kind of review things when I play them, when I stream them. So yeah, I don't really know. A lot of times when I play a game, especially when streaming them, if it's a game I've never played before, I love to give feedback, but not necessarily a review. Like this game, if you don't know anything about Outward, it's made by a very small studio. So it's got some quirks to it. And I like to just, when I play a game like this, to be like, hey, I like this, I don't like this thing. It'd be cool if we had these features. Not because I really want, you know, the devs to listen to me and for it to be implemented, but I think providing that feedback and seeing what others say just helps form a community around the games and whatever that I play. Are these things actually worth more? They might be worth more as potions. I'm actually curious. Oh, I do have some predator bones in here. Okay, I gotta have cool potions, right? I do. How much are these things worth? What's not showing up for you? The YouTube videos or like ads and stuff? Because I think I have ads auto running on YouTube as well, but if they don't show, they don't show. Yeah, it is what it is. I really don't want to be here that much longer. 4. Okay, so it's really not worth making that. Well, actually, hang on. Don't I make like 3 potions? Ah, Red Plague video. Yeah, so... yeah, that... I don't know. That shouldn't be age restricted in any way, but I mean, your country might have different laws than and rules than I'm familiar with. But I don't have it set to be age restricted. That's kind of a thing. I don't... so that's funny that you mentioned that. It could be because the Red Plague is kind of gory and maybe it gets auto-restricted in Germany. I don't know.
Hey there.
But that's actually something I mentioned in that video. Because I have a Red Plague playthrough that I did where it's basically just a VOD of me playing it, but it's not a VOD, it's not live streamed. I think some of it's live streamed, but it's like a recorded playthrough, unedited basically. And then I have my Red Plague video where I talk about the mod and I say like, is it good? And I actually mentioned in the video where I'm like kind of doing a review or, you know, like should people actually play the mod? And I mentioned in that they swear in that mod, which is really weird for Subnautica because they don't really swear. They use minor curse words, but in the Red Plague mod they use some pretty, like, I don't want to say severe, but some, you know, pretty obscene language in it. Not like it's terrible, you know, I can't get through it, but I mentioned in that video that it was pretty immersion breaking for me because of, like, the game's just not doing that. That's just not normal. The minor curse words that they use in the base game are actually from like Below Zero, Subnautica Below Zero. And it's like Marguerite talking about her experience with like the Reaper Leviathan and stuff. And it's like that stuff is like super, super minor, whatever she says. But this mod adds some pretty crazy dialogue that I just didn't like. Gracie, what is it that you want, huh? Give me just a sec. I gotta get out of my chair and blow my nose. My nose is running. I've brought a special guest with me. Her name is Gracie. She is my long hair cat. Let me fix this real quick. We'll zoom in here. She sometimes doesn't like to be the star of the show, but she also loves kind of being the star of the show. Loves to make a mess and be obnoxious. Her name is Gracie. Gracie. Hi, Gracie. What you doing? Oh, yeah, you're complaining because I'm holding you. You can't just be obnoxious. Here, I'll put you down now. Yeah, I'll switch my stuff back real quick. Yeah, she's a good kitty. For the most part, she's a pretty good cat. but sometimes she can be a little obnoxious and want to steal the show. In fact, on Twitch, I have a lot of different emotes of her. But yeah. It looks very angry. She is just annoyed that she had to be held. She wants to... Hi, Gracie. She wants to, I think she wants me to play with her, but I just did play with her a little bit ago. Or maybe she wants food, or maybe she wants this catnip. I mean, I don't know. Do you want catnip? Is that what's going on? We're making a mess. Here, have the catnip. I know 100% that you want this cat. Here. Put your toy on the floor. There you go. She's good. I try to showcase her in videos if I can. Kind of depends on if, when I'm recording, she decides to be, you know, helpful and join me in my recording session. Okay. But yeah, she's a good cat. She's kind of a skittish, a little bit of a scaredy cat, likes to hide and stuff like that. So, I don't know. She's very loving with me, and it's something that I appreciate. It just, it's good to have an animal that wants to be around you and wants to spend time with you and feel safe with you. As obnoxious as she can be. Yes, leave my microphone alone. Hey, get out from back there. No, that's a no cat zone. No. Hi. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, you need to wrestle or something? You need energy burned? This is what happens on my streams. I'll be playing and she'll have something to say about it. So, if you're enjoying this, I guess you'll have to stop by more when I stream if you can. But, yeah, she's very good for the most part. Just a little obnoxious. What time is it where I'm at? It is 9:30 in the morning. So, I also will be leaving in, well, about 2.5 hours. I don't normally stream at this time. I mentioned it earlier. But I don't normally stream at this time because, well, it's really early in the day for me, and I usually am doing other things. Honestly, what I'm usually trying to do is work on my next video. That is, if I'm up at this time. A lot of times I'm up till 4 in the morning my time.
Hey there.
Did I not buy the thing that I wanted? I didn't. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to stop by with the streams if you don't want to. That is completely up to you. I mean, I appreciate it. It's fun to talk to people. I really do enjoy hanging out with people. I originally thought I wasn't going to stream today just because I was going to be busy at my normal time, but then I figured, you know what? Hey, I'll get up, I'll do it anyway, see what happens, and I'm glad I did because I get to hang out and talk with you. It's a good time to just sit around and chat about things, whether it's about the game I'm playing or about whatever's going on in your life or whatever. I just enjoy that conversation. 3:30 for you PM. Yeah. Yeah, there's a big time difference. I actually have a person that I kind of watch on Twitch because they support me, and were kind of one of my earlier followers. Their name is Helia VT on Twitch. They don't stream on YouTube or anything, but they're actually going to be starting stream probably in 20 minutes, and I'm not usually up this early. But same thing for them. I don't remember. I think they're in Sweden right now, so similar-ish time difference. That's why I'm here. I also love to talk about anything. Well, perfect. And you and I will get along very well because I kind of talk all the time. Whether it's about life, about Gracie, about the game I'm playing, or whatever. It's, that's really what I do this for. I just like to hang out and chat. I wish that I, like, what am I trying to say? I wish in some ways that I watched more Twitch so that I could recommend more like channels and stuff, or watch more streams in general, but Twitch is kind of the streaming platform, so it's what I think about. But I kind of don't watch a lot of live streams myself. I used to. When I was younger, I used to watch quite a bit. I just kind of stopped. And I don't really know why. I think really what happened, honestly, was that a person I was watching was playing a game, and I don't really know, but they like got a little annoyed with me, and I wasn't like really offended by that, but they were just having like a weird off day, and I was like, oh man, that's not like them. So I kind of just sat back and like didn't chat with them, and then the next time they streamed, I was like, well, you know, I guess I was being annoying last time, so I'll just kind of like, you know, let it cool off for another day. And then I just kind of never went back. I just kind of stopped watching Twitch altogether, which is like not what I had intended, but ultimately what ended up happening. What do I think about Germany? I don't know a whole lot about Germany. I mean, aside from the obvious stuff taught in history classes here, but, you know, I really don't know a whole lot except for, you know, ancient Germany. you know, before Germany was Germany, I like my medieval stuff because I'm a nerd. I like my fantasy types of stuff, so I know a little bit about, you know, like Dark Age stuff, and obviously I know about World Wars and stuff like that.
Hey there.
But that's not what I think of when I think Germany. I honestly can say that I just don't really know a whole lot about Germany. Just in general. Not that I don't care or anything. So currently my situation in America is I don't make a lot of money. I've been working for the last 12 years of my life, and none of my jobs had ever had any opportunity for growth. And every time I've put in time, I've never really made a good enough income to be able to travel. So I haven't been able to go to Germany as much as I've wanted to. I've wanted to visit Europe for a very long time. I just don't have the funds for that. And so it feels very weird. My only knowledge of, you know, Germany or other parts of the world is what people tell me. It's what I get from my, you know, chatters and what I read online. And I know that can't be entirely accurate because that's just one person. You know, it's one person somewhere in the world and their opinion on a thing. So, yeah, I wish I knew more. I don't know. I don't have a lot of means to actually go explore and learn that much.
Want to buy something?
I don't have Twitch. I mean, that's fine. That you don't have to have Twitch. I haven't been to any other country besides Germany, but I watch a lot of YouTube. The thing, though, about you being in Germany is that, you know, and you're young. Yeah, I say that, I make myself sound older every day, but if you're 17, you are young, and you will have the opportunity to, hopefully, go to your neighboring countries. My understanding is that in Europe, borders are pretty open, so you can get from one country to another and get to explore, you know, culture differences and stuff like that. We don't really have that in America. We, America is very different geographically, so we have deserts and we have, you know, wide forest, expansive forests. We have mountains and we have valleys and flooded coastal areas. We have a lot of different, like, natural lands to go see, but as a culture, America's America. It's pretty similar in most places, you know? So that's kind of the beauty and the curse of being an American is that in America, we can travel to any state that we want, and, you know, we're openly accepted, and we can travel hundreds of miles or kilometers. We use the weird standard imperial system and not the metric system, but we can travel hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, but it's all kind of the same. You do it for really good restaurants, and you do it for, like, to get to another location that's not your current biome, to think of it in Subnautica terms. I live in the Midwestern region of the United States, even though it's more like the eastern part of the United States. So it's very lush, very green, very forested, lots of water, you know. That's my area. If I was going to travel in the US, I'd travel to the desert because I've never been there. Besides countries which are not bordered with Germany. That's also sort of the blessing and curse also of America, is we depend a lot on automobiles, cars, and so if I wanted to go to another state, I could just drive there. We have, you know, all of our interstates, highways, whatever you want to call them. We have a lot of roads set up so that we can easily travel from place to place, but it's so far away. If I wanted to do any sort of travel to any other state, I have to drive or fly. Those are my two options. We have a train system, but our railroads are awful. They have not been upkept. They're outdated and need a lot of love. And it's not really that much cheaper to go by rail. So we
Hey there.
don't really... The country doesn't really travel by rail. So I can see maybe where in Germany, my point with that, sorry, I got distracted by my game. I can see where in Germany you might have not traveled much further than your neighboring area, your neighboring countries, just because of maybe not having a lot of transportation options. I don't really know. But we do everything by car, so... For us, it's very easy to get from place to place. It's just our distances are multiple European countries. If I want to get from my state to, let's say, Texas, one of the most well-known US states, it would take me multiple days by car. I guess that makes sense, kind of. Yeah, that's that's not really a thing in America. It kind of is, but it's kind of not. We have buses, but the buses don't work together. We have companies that we can hire to take us via bus to any location we want to go, but they're not really that cheap either. And it's still going to take multiple days of travel to get to a place. That's just how big the United States is. If I travel right now, if I traveled, you said in about 5 hours, let's say, you could be in another country. If I wanted to travel to my closest state, it would take me 2.5 hours at least. And the difference between my state and that state is nothing. They are exactly the same culturally in almost every way. They just have different sports teams. That's about it. In order for me to experience a slight culture change, where, you know, maybe people cook different kinds of foods, or people like to partake in different activities, or there's, you know, more of a, let's say, city life. I would have to travel to one of our major cities, like, let's say, New York City, or Los Angeles, or Miami, or something like that, you know, one of those really big cities. Well, I wouldn't have to, but that's what most people think of. Those cities are nowhere near me. That would take me on the road, whether it's by car or by bus. The closest big city to me would probably be New York City. And that would probably take, if I had to guess, 8 to 12 hours to get there. So that's kind of the thing. And I could fly inside the US, but it would cost me at minimum a few $100s to fly. I couldn't tell you the exact price because I've never flown before, because it's just never really been an option. But it would cost a few $100s to fly, and if I took a bus or a train, it would cost very similar.
Hey there.
She's not gonna have any money really, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, that's kind of the struggle with living in the US, is we're really dependent on our local economies. We're really dependent on our local everything. Like, my state is known for its natural resources. I'm not afraid to share it. My state is Michigan, which maybe being in Europe is one that you don't know very well because it's not the most popular state, but I live in Michigan. It's the one that's surrounded by a ton of water. It's the one that kind of looks like a mitten. That's what we always do. It's this one. It's the easy one to spot if you look at Michigan, or if you look at the United States, it's the mitten. Michigan is a state full of natural resources. We have 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, which are basically oceans, that we're connected to. We have a lower peninsula and an upper peninsula that's above it. Well, actually, the upper peninsula would be this way. They connect like this. More like that. There we go. Let me center it. That is Michigan. And like, it's a beautiful thing that I can do this with my hands. That's a very common thing for our state, to just be able to do that, because we can. And that is the general shape of the land, and I love that. But it's known for its natural resources. Huge forests, lots of obviously water, recreation, hiking. We even have a small mountain range. But in my own state, most of the population, I gotta move my hands again. There we go. Most of the population of Michigan lives in this section, and specifically more here, here, and here. Some people live up here. Most of this part of the Upper Peninsula is empty. There's not that much, there's kind of no big cities. They're smaller cities. They're cities, but they're not, you know, nothing really noteworthy. So, I could go to Canada. That would be the closest way. Actually, Canada is closer to me in more ways than one than a lot of states in America. Because in Michigan, again, using this one as an example, Canada's right here. This is Ontario. So, as long as I get to anywhere in this part of anything, I could be in Canada. But we do have to cross a Great Lake, which, those, like I said, are basically oceans. The Great Lakes are so vast that
How can I help you?
only under the best of circumstances could you maybe see across the water to Canada. But you'd have to have zero fog. Like, there, it is in most cases not an option. You can't see it. They're beautiful. Honestly, I love my
How
state.
can I help you?
Want to buy something?
But yeah, I mean, like, that that's my situation. Michigan is not really well known for any of its city life. The best thing Michigan was known for, and there's kind of not today, was automobile manufacturing. Ford, GM, Chrysler, that all started here, but those companies are not what they used to be, unfortunately. They do a lot of their work overseas these days. There are places you can travel in Michigan where you can see vast empty concrete lots of what used to be a manufacturing plant for one of the automakers. Now it's just nothing. Have I ever eaten anything that comes only from Germany? I can't say I have. I don't know a lot of German, like, what's the word I'm looking for? German, cultural foods. I'm just looking at a quick website real quick. Yeah, I can't say there's anything that, like, I've had that's, I could say, purely, like, German. I've probably had the Americanized version of German food. just looking at the stuff that, like, this website was showing, I've probably seen the, or I've probably had some of the, like, Americanized, simplified versions of things.
Hey there.
Like, they were talking about, on this website, they were talking about, like, pretzels. It's like, we have big pretzels like that, but they're definitely like, they're not handmade with, like, care and love. They're probably pumped out of a thing of batter and fried in a way that, like, you know, the quick way, the American way.
Hey there.
Very simple, very easy. How do we, you know, how do we scale this on a quantity level? America's all about quantity. It's all about how do we mass produce and mass manufacture everything. Yeah, there's kind of a difference with American foods and a lot of other countries' foods. We've talked about this before on my stream, and I've talked about it before on the VTuber stream I was talking about before. Hell yeah. But they're from Germany. So I've talked a little bit about Germany with them before, and we've talked about, like, Europe and food qualities and stuff like that. American food is very much meant to be quick, convenient, you know, easy, fast, everything that you can do, like, in as minimal amount of time. How do I do all this other stuff? So all of our foods are meant to be done that way. We buy it in a bag, we buy it in a box, pre-made, ready to go. If we want to make anything from scratch, a lot of our base ingredients, like, let's say flour, is the cheapest, fastest way that we can make flour. There's not a lot of quality. It's bleached, it's enriched, it's all this other stuff. It's not very good, pure, if you want to call it, like, flour. It's... We have to go out of our way in America to find very specific ingredients that are good, organic, natural. Gracie, you're being cute, but can you be over here and get some pets? Come here. Come here. Hey. And I guess I shouldn't say that, like, all American food is that way. That's not entirely true, but that is unfortunately the vast majority of a lot of our foods is that stuff. We just, like, it's we can go to a market and we can buy you know, ingredients for foods. We can buy tomatoes and cabbages and basically any food that we want that way, but we do have to look when we're shopping for that stuff. We do have to look and go, okay, like, we have to think about the fact that if this is a brand we don't trust, it might be covered in pesticides. It's not, we have to look for, like, oh, is this food organic or not? Don't bite me. Hey. Hey, you're the one that's being bothersome. Calm down. No. Calm down. What's that? Hmm? What's that? So, we have another viewer. Maybe we do. Nobody said anything on my end. I can't see any new messages. But welcome, other viewers. Anybody who might be lurking, that's fine. You do not have to chime into the conversation or say anything if you don't want to. I just enjoy having people here. Anyway, less on the topic of American food quality versus European food quality. I should probably talk about what I'm actually doing in my game real quick. So, this game here, Outward, is, for people who don't know, it's a game about exploration and having to manage your resources, much like a survival game. Gracie, you need to move your butt. Come here. Okay, or get down. Just pick one. You can't be right here. All right, cat. Get down. Get down. Get down. Hey. It's fine. I mean, unfortunately with streaming, this is the way that it goes. People come and go all the time. I have a lot of well, not a lot, but I have, you know, like 100 followers on Twitch. There are people that haven't chimed in that were here a lot, you know, when I was playing other games, and they just are not, they haven't chimed in a while. It happens. It just kind of comes with like the types of games I'm playing. But back to this game and what it's about. So this game is very much managing your resources like a survival game, but it's an adventure. So you need to be prepared to go on long journeys and be able to deal with just about any circumstance thrown at you. So if you're poisoned, do you have antidotes? If you're tired, can you rest somewhere? If you're hungry, you need to be able to eat. Do you have the resources to make the campfires and all the stuff that you need to cook your food? There's a lot of that in this game. And so what I'm doing right now, I'm near the end of it, so I've been playing for a very long time. One of the quests that I have to do right now is to it's to basically rebuild an entire city. I have to essentially pay with money or resources, but mostly money, for them to be able to rebuild their city, because they live in a volcanic region and it collapsed and fell basically inside a volcano. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm going back to my stash. I'm in a city that I can sell a lot of things to. There's a lot of people here. And I'm just selling a lot of the stuff that I have. And I'm also making a lot of things with the stuff that I have that I just haven't used a lot of my resources. So I've been stockpiling for, oh boy, I think I've been playing this save for like 60 to 70 hours. So I have a number of things that I can make and sell. All of that just to get money so that I can fund this new city, which I'm getting close to completely being able to support. But it takes time. There are a lot of resources and things you have to manage. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get salt. So, while it seems like I haven't really done much right now, I've been just talking and trying to do things in the background here. I'm trying to, prepare all that. I'm trying to sell a bunch of things and make a bunch of money so that I can just go into the next location and get what I need to get done. Technically, this game, too, what makes it interesting is that there is a time limit on everything. So I started this quest, and it says I have 150 in-game days in order to finish this step of the quest that I'm on. So yeah, that's really what's going on right now, is I'm just selling a bunch of things and trying to manage my inventories and stuff like that. But I'm about ready to leave this region that I'm in and actually go back to that area. I just have to finish what I'm doing real quick. I'm probably not going to use these, so I'll sell those. I'll sell this. I'll sell that. I feel like I'm missing something.
How can I help you?
I feel like I was gonna... Oh, I was gonna... Oh, yeah, okay, never mind. It's fine. Is it kind of like Valheim? 60 hours, yeah. So... Is it kind of like Valheim? Valheim, you explore different land masses, but there's a lot of, like, magic stuff to it, so you can like go through portals and stuff, and you can like there's magic in this game, but there's not really like teleporting. So think, I guess, in terms of like preparing yourself for a journey and all that, think Valheim, but never being able to use a portal. There's no fast travel system in this game, and because of that, you really are dependent on making sure that you are prepared for the situations you're going into. If you don't properly prepare, and something happens, there's also diseases in this game, so you do have to worry about that. And if you don't have the cure for a disease, your character just has to live with that. Temperature is a big thing that you have to deal with. There's a ton with this game that in terms of that type of stuff. Aside from that, combat wise, it is a lot like a Souls-like in many ways. There's a heavy attack and a light attack that you get to do. There's rolling and dodging, there's some kind of parrying and stuff like that, but mostly it is using these like skills. So that's kind of how the game handles everything. How it handles combat in general is that there are skills that have cooldowns, kind of like an MMO. And these are like all the skills that I know. Magic is all done through these skills. But you also have skills for like doing a dagger attack, or like a backstab. Like it's just built in this way. You can learn these skills from various people throughout the game while you're playing. In my case, I'm choosing to play with a bow. Since you, War Thunder, have only probably really seen my Subnautica content, you might not know this, but a lot of games, if they're like any sort of fantasy or medieval style game, I tend to prefer archery as my first playthrough, And this is my first playthrough of this game. It's just a very long game if you're trying to do everything. So I decided to go with Archer. And it's a tough class to play, so a lot of my stuff has been getting stuff like for better evasion tactics, setting up traps on the ground so that I can like prepare for a battle before I get into it. Applying status effects. That's a lot of what this character has become. So that's mostly what I do, is engage things from range and, you know, do dodging and that type of stuff. So, for example, I'm now traveling. This is one region. There are, let's see, 4 base game regions and 2 DLC regions, so a total of 6 regions. I actually went out the wrong exit. I should have gone out the south exit. So I'm gonna go this way. But this is the map of one of the regions. If I want to leave this region and go to other ones that I have, these arrows on the map, they require travel rations, which are not very hard to make, but you still have to have them. You can't leave without them. So that's one of the things you need to have prepared on you. When you travel, it takes days to get to your destination. And some quests are really dependent on... Well, they're time sensitive, so a lot of quests will have something where they're like, look, you need to, you know, so, like, let's say somebody was murdered in a city and you're investigating it. The game will actually change with time, where the quest will be like, hey, go find the person who, you know, murdered this other person. You're like, okay, I'll go do that. If you take too long, the person might get away instead of you being able to capture them, and your rewards will be different. Sometimes they can be beneficial. The quests themselves are not incredibly long, and they're not super detailed. A lot of times it's, did person get away or did you capture them? Do you get this reward or do you get this reward? And there's not that many quests in the game, because it is made by a small team, a small little indie dev company, so called 9 Dots. They haven't made a whole lot, but this game did well enough for them that they are making a sequel. It was set to come out basically right about now, but they delayed it. It was going to be in early access, so they delayed it because it wasn't performing the way they wanted it to perform. So, but yeah, so there's no, like, player marker on the map. So you have to travel much like Valheim. You have to travel by landmarks. You can make markers if you want on your map, but they don't show up on your compass or anything. So, for example, that way in the distance is the burning tree. Huge burning tree. So the fact that I can see that, and that I kind of crossed a bridge in some ruins, you know, I'm down in this area of the map, and I have to follow the trails that way, which I very much enjoy about any game. Fast traveling in games is convenient, it's nice, but this world isn't so big where it feels like a hassle to travel from place to place. It just actually takes time, and time is a resource that you have to manage, because it can fail quests if you're not careful. I prefer games where you don't have to walk so much. Zelda, for example, is problematic because you walk so far. Really don't like it. It kind of depends on the Zelda game that you play. Zelda games vary quite a bit the whole overworld is you walking, but the amount of walking that you have to do changes a lot. Like, yeah, you have to walk from place to place in pretty much all the games because they very rarely have like a mount or something for you to go to take from place to place. But I'd argue, like, let's say for example, Ocarina of Time is a much different game than Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Those worlds are massive, and they pretty much are walking, except for the gliding portions. You can fast travel the towers, you spend a lot of your time gliding. And with Tears of the Kingdom, you can make the contraptions to help you fly from place to place, but like, the size of that world requires that, and it can take an hour to cross the map that you're in. This game has a lot of running from place to place, but you do have to plan your journey. So you don't really run from place to place like all the time. You go out on an adventure and you essentially take your house with you. That's why I have such a huge backpack, is I need all the supplies that I have in my backpack to complete my journey. And so I can be out camping in the wilderness for multiple days at a time and then go back into town and sell my stuff. I could also just return to town, you know, every day or whatever, not go that far if I don't want to. But that's kind of, this game is all about the journey and whether or not you're prepared for it. And yes, I'm running everywhere, but the distance isn't that far. So, you may not like it, you may like it. It kind of depends. I mean, if you like Valheim, I feel like Valheim has a lot of walking everywhere, except for the ships when you sail and the portals which teleport you, but you have to go to that location before you can teleport, so you kind of walk a lot. The Wii U version of what am I trying to say? Breath of the Wild. I'm actually, like, this is kind of the first time I've heard somebody say they play the Wii U version of that game. Wii U just didn't do that well, unfortunately, but that's cool, honestly. I had a Wii U for a little bit, but it was back in the earlier years of it. It was out for maybe, I think, a year or two when I bought mine, and then there really weren't any games I cared about, so I sold it again. Yeah, so I did all that running, but that got me from one town to another town. This town is the one that I'm building, so there's not a whole lot that I can do here yet. But that's the quest. That's the job, is trying to rebuild this place, which I'm currently in the process of dealing with. Not enough food stockpiled. Okay, interesting. Well, I happen to have a lot of money that I can throw at this problem. That was the whole point of selling everything that I did.
How can I help you?
Yeah, they need food. You guys can have all of that, and then you can also have, like, all of that. Cool. And then you can have all of that and all of that. Completed in 8 days. Okay. How much longer do I think it will take for me to finish this game? I'm not entirely sure. This is the last DLC. It depends on how much of this I need to do. So each one of these buildings that I've made takes several in-game weeks. However, you can fast forward time by talking to this person over here and saying you want to help with construction, and that'll fast forward a week. So right now, it's kind of a resource management game. I've got money, food, and wood and stone that I have to deal with, my other resources. So currently, I need to be concerned with the money and the food right now. But food isn't that hard to get. This timber and the stones, I'm not making much of, but I am making some. So, I need to work on increasing that and making sure that I'm actually gaining these resources instead, so that this place becomes a little bit more self-sufficient. Instead of me having to spend my own money towards it. But I don't think I'm that far away from at least the next update. I kind of need to finish this building and one more, but this building will start making me money, so I won't have to like sell and buy and travel a bunch of things. I'll just have to buy food, but I should be gaining money once this building is done. So
what are we working on today? This is a relief.
If I had to guess, I'll finish this probably next week. I stream 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I should be able to stream all 3 days. So, I don't think I'm going to finish it today, but it should be next week, maybe Monday. Probably, if I had to guess, based off of how long it's taken me to do things, it's more than likely Wednesday or Friday. Depends on how much time I get to play.
So, what are we working on today?
How are we doing here? Completed in 1 day. Once I finish this game, I think I'm gonna play another character and just try out a couple things, but I don't think I'm gonna do another playthrough of this. So, after this, my plan on what I want to stream is going to be playing Ark Survival Evolved, or rather Ascended. I'll play Ark Ascended because that's the newer version and I can run it. How are we doing on resources?
How can I help you?
We only have 18 food. That gets us 1 day. Let's spend, I don't know, that much. Hopefully we can get by that.
What are we working on today? We're grateful to you.
Random, but have I ever seen a tornado or any other natural disaster in real life? We get tornadoes in Michigan. I've seen the destruction. I have never seen one, like, heading my way. But we had a couple years ago a scare. There was one pretty close. But it didn't end up really damaging anything of mine. We need more money to finish this. Okay, that makes sense. That's fine. I've got more money that I can spend.
How can I help you?
So, what are we working on today? So, what are we working on today? This is a relief.
Planet Craft. I want to get that. I don't have it yet, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun.
So, what are we working on today? We're grateful to you.
Hopefully, this thing will basically be done now. It should only need like a couple more days, I think. Not enough food. That's fine. As soon as this place is done, I can start buying and selling things in town, which will be nice.
So, what's on the agenda today?
We don't have enough of that. Okay. I'm gonna have to leave town and go get more stuff. So I'm gonna have to sell some things that I have. I have tons of these, so let's sell, I don't know, as many as I can. Probably only like 20. Weighs 10 pounds. I don't know how much they're worth. Get rid of those. I have 29 antidotes. Wow. We gotta go on a quick little journey. And by quick, I mean probably should sleep a little bit. Graveyard Keeper. I don't know if I've heard of that game. I'll have to look into it. Oh wait, there's a guy here. Hello, wait.
Can I help you?
When did this guy get here? Yo, hold up. Why hasn't he been here before? Oh, this is awesome. Hang on. Hang on, I got a lot of stuff to sell you. Stay right here, man. That's better. I've got so much I want to sell this guy. I don't have to leave town after all. All right. Let's see. What is worth money? Honestly, how good is this? Is this the same amount of money? Because I can very easily make crystal powder and sell crystal powder instead. Yeah, the sleeping in that tent specifically, it's so weird. I don't know why. This is the only one that does that. Most of the time you sleep in the tent, but that one you don't. I don't know why. It doesn't happen. I was gonna comment on it, but I already forgot because I've already had to deal with that. But yeah, it's very, very odd for sure. 14. What's a mana stone go for? 6. It's actually better to not break that down into crystal powder then. Actually, I guess it depends on how much crystal powder I get. What's the recipe? Gotta get to crafting. You get one. Yeah, no, it's better to just sell it as is. Let's sell like 150 of these. I'm gonna not be able to move so well. It's small little quirks like that about this game that makes it lovable, but also you can tell why
Can I help you?
I said it's made by a small team, and you know, it's not the perfect game. It's a great game. It's just not. Quality wise, it lacks in a few areas.
So, what's on the agenda today?
Hey, Spruce Knight, welcome. Welcome. How much have I played this game? Quite a bit. I'm gonna turn this down a bit on my end. That's a bit loud in the game. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys.
Can I help you?
Actually, no, I am gonna adjust it in game. I've played this game for, I don't know, like, I think 60 to 70 hours.
Can I help you?
Quite a long time. This game is not a fast game, but it's very fun for a small solo, well, not really solo, but small indie team. This game has a lot to it. How many characters? One. This is my first character through the game. This is the first time I've ever done this DLC. First build I've ever made, first everything. Yeah, I can never tell who has and hasn't played this game. Outward's one of those games where it has a cult following, and those cultists will show up. They'll just be like, "Hey, how you doing? You're doing well," or whatever. You should do this thing in the game. And then you've got other people that have no idea what this game is about. They've never seen it before. So, no, it's no big deal. There's no big deal. I just always err on the side of caution. I don't like to assume that people have heard or have played this game. So, yeah, this is one character. Doing this DLC for the first time. I had a bunch of money saved up. Now I don't. I have a lot of things I can sell. I'm just debating on what do I want to sell. I'm probably not going to use this much crystal powder. And probably not really any of these stealth potions. And probably basically none of those life potions. And they're not hard to make anyway. Building is crazy expensive. I was not... So, my chat, I've had a number of people follow me through this. I don't usually stream it this time, so I'm not surprised my chat's a little dead today. Well, I mean, minus War Thunder. War Thunder's new, though. Not that that's a problem. I'm digging a hole, but what I'm trying to say is that I've had a number of people follow me on my journey through this game. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow, Spruce Knight. I've had a number of people follow me through this game and been telling me things. So, like, I had 50 gold ingots, and I'm like, I'm loaded. I have so much money, I don't know what to do with it. And they're like, you should
So,
continue
what
to
are we working
farm
on
for
today?
money. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have
what's on
so
the
much money,
agenda
I don't know
today?
what to do with it. And they're like, you should continue to farm for money. So one of my, not really rules for this game, but one of my requests to people has been to not spoil anything for me if you can help it. Small things, like if I'm doing something, like let's say I'm in a dungeon and I've gone through the entire dungeon and I'm like, okay, I think I did it. At that point, people are allowed to like be like, hey, actually you missed something really important or really cool, like a rare item or whatever. And then I can go back and search, and then if I don't find it, I'll be like, okay, tell me how to do it or how to find the thing, you know. That's when I like the help. But a lot of times I want to, you know, explore the world myself and play through it myself. You know, the build that I'm doing is not the world's best build. I know that I could be 100% more optimal, I'm sure. But I did manage to figure out enchanting. So I got fully enchanted armor. And a weapon. I've enchanted a couple weapons. You know, I put some stuff on that I think works well. I've explored magic a little bit. I want to do mostly archery, but I'm using rune magic for the magic traps because I'm also a trap build. Because early game archery kind of sucks when you don't know what you're doing. When you have a simple bow, or, you know, for a while it was the coral horn bow or the war bow. When I don't know how to make like the horror bow or the obsidian bow or any of that stuff, and the game's not giving me the recipes for them, it's a pretty rough start as an archer. So I bought the marathoner perk so that I could run from place to place and all that, which required one of my chain skills. I got the rune magic where I don't need the lexicon since I have the bow in my offhand and don't want to swap weapons all the time. And I got the chain skill for, well, whatever the one is that allows you to pick up the pressure plates from the rogue guy in Levant. And that's kind of my build. Love the help, though, so you can... Yeah, I hate spoilers, but love to help. Yeah. That's kind of where I am, too. I appreciate people's help, 100%. I love when people want to help me in a game. The only thing I ask is just don't be like, don't backseat and don't be like, why are you not using the mega awesome super bow? Because I haven't found the mega awesome super bow. I haven't found the recipe for it. The game hasn't told me about it. Like, this is a blind playthrough of this game. I've never watched anybody play through it. Technically speaking, this is my second character because I did co-op a little bit with my friends, but we basically rushed from city to city. We didn't explore a lot of the dungeons. And we ended at Levant. We went to Berg, we went to Monsoon, and we went to Levant, but we didn't do any story quests. And we didn't really have good gear for our characters. It was mostly the basic gear. Oh, it's that guy. Welcome, welcome. Sorry, I didn't see your question a little earlier. So, have I been crafting? Yes, I've done a lot of crafting. It's just, I try crafting something and it doesn't work or whatever, you know? So I never learn a recipe, but I've got tons and tons and tons of recipes, you know? I've done a lot of crafting. I found a lot of recipes, but, you know, there's so much to this game in terms of crafting, especially alchemy and cooking. Those are try it once and fail, and a lot of times, if you don't know it, you're gonna fail, and the recipes will require an ingredient that's not the easiest to get, so... The food, or not the food, the weapons and armor isn't too bad because you don't use up those resources. But making food waste or failing an alchemy experiment just doesn't feel good sometimes.
So, What are we
I
working
did
on
experiment
today?
a little bit. You know, like the amount I'll experiment is it's like, oh, I'm cooking and it's like, what was jerky? 2 meat and 2 salt. Okay, what's alpha jerky? Probably 2 alpha meat and 2 salt. You know, like I'll draw conclusions from that, or like, you know, what would I think bread would be? Probably flour, water, and salt. Maybe sugar, because some real recipes call for sugar, but you know, usually flour, water, salt's what you think of. The jams, you know, once you learn one jam, it's kind of similar, but you know, they do vary a little bit. So, you know, that's how I experiment and learn things. I like to watch first time playthroughs for the uniqueness of it. So spoilers ruin it for the viewers as much as the streamer. What faction did I do? Levant. Mostly because starting out as an archer, I struggled a lot with my skills. I got to Berg and I got to the hunter and he taught me, you know, the jump shot and the sniper shot. I was gonna spend my chain skill on piercing shot, but then I saw everything else that he had was useless to me because it was all melee oriented. It was like axes and stuff like that. I don't use those. I am a pure archer build, and the main thing about that for me is I just like archery in any fantasy or medieval game.
So, what are we working? We're grateful to
I
you.
really love to do archery as my first playthrough, and that's sort of a hit or miss. Some games archery is fantastic, and a lot of games archery sucks. And so I started Outward with being an archer. I had a simple bow. I had those skills. I got myself the coral horn bow. But I, you know, with those skills, Berg wasn't really, the Emerkar region wasn't really going so hot. I wasn't doing any elemental damage because I didn't have many elemental arrows, you know, lots of things like that. So, I basically rushed from city to city until I found a place that seemed like it had the most useful stuff for my character I was going for, and I made it to Levant and found the guy that had the perks where you can roll with a backpack. Found the picking up pressure plate traps and being able to use those, and I was using tripwire traps a lot, so that seemed really useful at the time. And I didn't have a second chain skill until like the end of the Soroborian DLC when I decided to leave and go get the rune magic one. I knew the guy was in Berg, I just didn't know I wanted to do rune magic, so I did all of Levant, I did all the story, I did everything there. I went to Monsoon, I talked to everybody in Monsoon, you know, I went basically everywhere. I went into the Soroborian DLC, and I finally decided I am gonna try magic, and I'll use rune magic because I looked it up and saw that there were traps. I didn't want to look it up, but the game just doesn't tell you what the runes do, so when I was making the decision of what I wanted to spend my last chain skill on, I decided rune magic, and that I wanted the one skill where you don't need the lexicon, since that goes in your offhand, and that's where the bow goes. So, have I built the alchemist shop here? No, the very first thing that I'm building right now is the blacksmith. Completed in 3 days. We should be fine, as long as I have the food. We're losing 50 money a day.
So,
We don't
what's
have a
on the
lot of
agenda
food, but
today?
I can sell things and get more food for us. Let's see. I'm not using Panacea really. I'll save a couple of them. The blacksmith was the first shop I decided to make that'll make me money. The alchemist will probably be next. But actually, probably what I should do is the hunting lodge, so that I don't have to buy food for the town all the time. Because that is an issue right now, is I have to spend my funds on food, but I'm also I have to sell my things for funds, so the blacksmith will be a nice step where I'll be able to generate funds instead of
Can I
lose
help you?
funds every day. So that's kind of my plan, is get this done, and then we'll see.
So, what are we working on today?
How can I help you?
I'm gonna go get water, since we're on an ad break anyway. Okay, let me fix my stuff here. There we go. Construction completed in 3 days. I have enough food, so I'll just, I think I'll just fast forward this time. I think I overlooked your question. Oh, sorry. I read it and then I realized a break was starting and I was trying to answer real quick the stuff about the game and I was going to go back to your question. I'm sorry. So,
what are we working on today?
yeah, it's unfortunate when there's a break and my brain just, it slips my mind. Would I recommend making videos or streaming them? You'd like to give it a try. 100% do YouTube. Make videos, post content that way. If you... I guess it really depends on what you're trying to get out of it, but I'd say even if you're not going to do it as like a hobby to make money or anything,
This is a
the
relief.
skills you learn from the video editing and that type of stuff is 100 times more useful than your sitting in front of a computer playing a game or talking to people. Unless you struggle with being able to openly communicate with people, you know, maybe conversation is a hard thing for you to have on camera. If you like, you have stage fright and that type of stuff, that's when streaming could be really beneficial because that's a confidence building thing. But if you're okay with talking to people, excuse me. Oh, I don't know where that came from. If you don't have that timidness, I guess, of talking to people, then I would say skill-wise and for fun, you should probably get into YouTube. Because what you're going to want to do if you're trying to have a successful YouTube channel, not even just to make money, but just for fun, for content, you're going to need to know image editing. So pick your favorite software. I decided to use GIMP. GIMP is very difficult to learn the little intricacies of it. The user experience for GIMP is not that great, but it does a lot, and it's free. It's powerful. For video editing, there's only one software I could ever recommend, and that's going to be DaVinci Resolve. Adobe Premiere, whatever, is fine. I've not used it myself. The problem is it's Adobe subscriptions. I hate software as a service. I hate subscription for software to do something, because you shouldn't have to have a monthly or yearly expense to be able to do like a hobby with computer software when there's so many other options out there. So I won't support Adobe for that. And that's part of the reason why I don't get into Photoshop either. I've used it before, but I used GIMP because free options are sometimes better. And there's, you know, alternatives to being able to get some of that software discounts for students and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're spending a good chunk of money, and it's just...
Is there something you need?
It's just something to think about for expenses. So GIMP was my choice. DaVinci Resolve, it's free. It's awesome. It competes with Premiere in almost every way. They do have a paid version. It's a one-time fee if you decide to pay it. And it just unlocks some extra stuff like whatever, AI upscaling of things or voice detection stuff to make your audio a little bit better without you having to manually tweak everything. But I'd say it's a good skill to learn how to tweak your audio. So, I don't use AI in any of the making of any of my YouTube content. I chose to learn everything that I've learned. And, you know, my YouTube thumbnails, some are good, some are bad, some are quick and done because like, for the Red Plague Subnautica content I did, the playthrough, that was just, hey, I did this recording session, I want to throw this up there. So I was uploading 3 videos a week. I didn't care about my thumbnail as much. I tried to get like a screenshot and do a couple highlights of things. I can see where I've already improved on that front with my stuff for that. But yeah, I mean, I did very, very quick thumbnails for that because they're not supposed to be main attractions like my other videos. The other thumbnails I've done, not all of them are that amazing, but I try to put some effort into them. You know, I learn as I go. I'm no professional or anything like that. I just constantly learn. You should always strive to learn new things. So but 100%, if you're looking at skills, technical skills, go into YouTube, because you're going to learn image editing, you're going to learn video editing, you're going to learn audio editing, you're going to learn like your camera quality and stuff. If you want to show a camera, you know, lighting, a little bit of that type of stuff. You'll learn a little bit of marketing, you know, things that grab attention, a lot of stuff. There's just so much stuff you learn with that versus streaming, where you just exist and people kind of hop in because they found your stream when they were looking for their favorite game or whatever,
So,
you know?
what are we working on today?
So all right. So how are we doing?
What's on the agenda?
We're now
today?
making money. We're losing 20 food a day, which is a problem. But now I can, any money I make can go towards food, and funds can just regenerate over time. Which is good, because I am starting to get broke. I've sold just about everything I really want to sell. I don't know how half of these weapon things, like Alat's Relic, don't know what that's used for. Jep's Generosity, no idea. Haunted Memory, not a clue. Like, I don't know what they gotta be used for some advanced, unique crafting. But hell if I know. So we're not doing that right now, I suppose. Golem Elixir, never gonna use that. Barrier Potion, they make it sound like I want that, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna use that either. I've got some extra weapons, but most of that is to maybe throw into a legacy chest. So I don't really want to sell those. I have a couple extra things to make, like the golden lich swords and stuff, which are worth some money. I've made a bunch of horror weapons. Probably don't need as much wine as I have. I definitely don't need 2 alchemy kits, but starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel here. I don't really use greasy ferns, so I guess I can get rid of those. Most of the stuff I have in here I keep for crafting, so that I don't have to leave the region to go find the creature. I made a ton of horror weapons. I just made 3 horror shields, a horror mace, horror, whatever the fist weapon, knuckles or whatever they want to call them. I have the bow as my main.
Is there something you need?
Yeah. And I've found, now the best thing about having a shop is I found militia weapons out in the wild, but I couldn't do anything with them. Couldn't sell them. So now I'll be able to sell those weapons for money, and that'll help me actually make some progress here. Get rid of these. Yeah, they're worth a ton. They really are. I have 7 horror chitin left, and I just don't think I have a lot for the base weapons. In terms of what I know, I don't know if there's a sword, but I have fists, mace, pistol, shield, armor, and bow. The bow needs a war bow, though. Good luck finding one of those. I've had, like, it's not worth it. The bow sells for 750 or 900, I think, when fully repaired. Mine was 750 at one point. But the war bow is 1,000. So that's not happening anytime soon. I don't have half plate armor, so I can't make the chest piece. I don't have palladium wristbands anymore. If I was gonna make anything, it would probably be the mace, but I don't have a lot of fangs in my box for the fang club. I don't have any extra pistols, and there are no round shields around here. So maybe the blacksmith has a round shield.
Is there something you need?
Not that I saw, though. So, yeah. What do I know about legacy chests? Legacy chests are basically used to upgrade gear and transfer it to another character. There's 4 in the game. They're in dungeons. I think I found all 4 of them. I don't exactly remember the dungeons, but I know one is in the Gold Lich's Tower, which I've definitely beaten him and will farm him. But, yeah, definitely, it's a thing for, like, kind of New Game Plus, but there's only 4, and certain gear upgrades with time. So, for example, the reason why I know that is a lot of the bows that, I was like, oh, man, that's cool. How do I get that? Legacy chest. Oh. I didn't look up a lot of stuff for a very long time, but as soon as I got to Harmattan and was finding new bows and new recipes, I looked up stuff for enchanting because I just didn't know what enchantments were out there. And I bought all the ones I could. Like, that's why I have all these, is so that I know them and I'm not just using a wiki. A lot of these I did, but like some of these were like incenses, and it's like, oh, you need monarch incense. I'm like, I don't have that one. You haven't sold that one the entire time I've been in town. So I'm gonna look that one up because I don't want to just wait out the time until you decide to sell that recipe. So, I do look up a couple things, but most of my experience is just pure gameplay. The only reason why I looked up a lot of it too is it feels like the devs knew that there was going to be a community around it and that they would, you know, want people to look up that stuff. Like, oh, if you can't figure it out, there's a wiki. Like, I don't know if they encourage wiki use, but they don't have like a in-game encyclopedia for a lot of this stuff, so I kind of feel like they got that whole like, we could just use a wiki thing. Fortunately, I have to leave. Hope you have fun. Already looking forward to a new video from you. Thanks, War Thunder. I will have my next video for YouTube. Spoiler, I guess, for anybody who really cares. It'll be Vintage Story. I have a series on Vintage Story. I'm finishing up a challenge for that game. So that'll be my next one. And then maybe back to Subnautica after that. Thanks for stopping by, War Thunder. Have a great day. Hope to see you again sometime. Yeah, held off on a wiki, but it's a great tool. It is. It's annoying how good of a tool it is because I wish that stuff was in the game. I love that this game rewards you with testing, you know, like going through and actually experimenting with things. But a criticism I do have of it is stuff like enchanting. These should just be in a menu. This should just be something. I think the enchanting system is cool. I like that it's unique and that it has some, like, I've never seen a game do enchanting the way this game does enchanting. And I like how this game does enchanting. But I do feel like they could have simplified it a little bit more. Just for quality of life, like, it's unique and that's awesome, but at the same time, it's also very annoying to have to, you know, I was trying to enchant one thing. I don't remember what it was. But it was requiring a pillar placement that was like, oh, we need like east close. And I placed it too close. It wasn't enchanting my stuff and I couldn't figure out why. And then, like I looked up a video on enchanting and I saw that people were placing the close pillars, like not on top of the table, basically. Like mine was so close, it was like under one of the wings of the butterfly for the enchanting table. And when I moved it out a little bit, it then started working. It was like, really? That was the issue? Like, I kind of wish that they were a little bit better with that. And yeah, a lot of the enchantments are underwhelming. And that's the thing. Another thing that I would say, a criticism of it, like, what is cocoon? I couldn't tell you at all what that is. And it's like the only way for you to know is to have the armor that they say and have all the ingredients, do the enchanting, and see if you like the enchantment that comes out of it. But then some of these incenses require things like the pure quartz, which is not the rarest resource, but isn't like I'll just go to the store and buy one either. I've never seen them sell pure quartz in any shop. Maybe they can, it's just a rare resource, but I've never seen it. That's how rare it is. So why would I want to make something, make all the incense, do all the enchanting, and then be like, oh, I hate this? Well, now I've wasted an armor set and whatever, there's just a lot of factors, and they could improve enchanting a little bit, but I like at its core what they're trying to do, where it's like kind of mysterious and not a lot of people know about it and whatever. But another slight criticism I've had of this game is they added the DLCs, and I kind of hate how separate they feel from the main game. Because, like, they add enchanting into the game, and you can go to the alchemist, you can get those supplies for enchanting. But on top of me not knowing how to make, or like how to do the enchanting itself, some of the alchemist recipes that they sell, you just can't learn from a standard alchemist. You have to go to Sirocco, or rather Harmattan, the Sirocco DLC, and you have to go there and buy them from them, because that's the only way that you'll learn it. So what's the point of putting the enchanting scrolls in the random normal alchemist shop if you're not gonna give me everything I need from them? And same thing with some of the crafting recipes. Like, all right, I need pure quartz for this incense. Where do I get it? Oh, it's only found in the Harmattan area. And that may not be entirely true because it's the elementals that drop it, but I never found a pure quartz before I went to the Harmattan area. Nope. Crap. Oh, no, my rune did go off. Okay. Nope. I am in terrible terrain. Would like to have a more flat area to fight this thing. Will I have enough time to do the rune trick? Oh, don't stop! What was that? Well, it kind of worked. These things are probably the most annoying thing for me to fight, because they're fast and have quick successive ranged attacks. But now that I have a good bow, not that terrible. Okay. But, the criticisms I just listed are relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. Like, I can just look it up on a wiki. it kind of feels bad on your first playthrough where it's like, how do I make this? Well, they don't tell you in the game. Why wouldn't they? You know? Very hard to intuit from the game. A lot of enchants are underwhelming. Not something to be experimenting freely with, yeah. Oh my god, there's 2 more of these? Wait, what? I was not expecting this. Time to mana potion up a bit. Kind of integrated the DLCs with the main game. Yeah, they kind of did, yeah. Oh boy. No, not again. Come on. I should have done pressure plates. Ooh. Hitting random terrain. We're just gonna run over here real quick. Oh, that one hit me. That's okay. Oh, terrain. Right. Okay, they're gonna be dumb about it. Cool. Okay. I could probably get myself some distance here and follow up. There we go. And that one decided to just not care anymore. Hey, that worked. Nope. Okay. Probably most annoying enemy for me to fight, but I think I handled that okay. I had a super fun trap build with the pressure plates and room magic. They combo very well. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm going with, but I've been a bit lazy about the pressure plates because they cost resources, and so I've been kind of like, oh my god, there's another one? Wait a minute. Are they just respawning on me? Like... Sometimes you can get some really fun combos where they hit the side and they bounce off each other. Like this stuff. They're going to be immune to fire, and I don't really have... I guess I have some ethereal stuff. Come here, you. Bonk. They weren't close enough together to do chains, but good enough. Ghost eyes are, honestly, I'm really happy that that resource exists. I didn't use them for a long time because I thought they were rare, and it just turns out that the Chersonese region just doesn't have a lot of them. But as soon as I got to, like, especially Harmattan, where they just had, like, fields of ghost plants, I was like, oh, okay, this is a easy resource. It's so good to finally have in new Sirocco the blacksmith. To have a shop that I could actually sell things to. Because that was honestly the biggest struggle of this DLC. Was the only shop I found, not to say that there's not more, but the only one I actually found was the giant in the, like, settlement, the like weaver place. Was the only one I actually found that was selling anything. I never found any caravan guys except for like right before I ended my last stream. I was literally on my way out of the caldera to go to Berg because Berg has all those merchants and that's the closest like main settlement. And I went to Berg and it was I sold all this stuff, but I was on my way there and I found one of the caravan guys. I'm like, where have you been this entire time? Okay. I made my way back into this place. I couldn't figure out this place before, puzzle-wise. There were definitely levers and stuff, but maybe I come here later, or I just didn't see the thing. I searched pretty thoroughly, but I didn't find the whatever solution they're looking for me for this. I probably should have drank water and maybe looked at food before I engaged with these guys, but they're fairly weak, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Just my stamina kind of sucks right now. But they tend to miss anyway. As long as I can get the blue one poisoned, which one more arrow should do it, then I can kind of just wait this out for a while. It's unfortunate that archery didn't get more love. From what people have told me, archery was always considered to be a like a passive thing, like you were supposed to use it just to like hunt and, you know, maybe start an encounter, but it was never meant to be a main skill, and then they added it in later. Like they added the hunter trainer and stuff and gave him some hunting skills or something like that. That's what I heard. And in many ways this game does feel like it, because it definitely feels like there's a lot of really cool melee weapons, and then the actual like the bows, I'm not saying there's not a lot of bows, but they do feel weak in some regard, and they can be strong. People were like, oh, if you put irrepressible anger on the horror bow, it's broken. It applies poison. Like, that's it. I have to run around in circles and wait for them to die because they're gonna be aggroed onto me because I shot them. Like, I don't think that's a broken style of gameplay. Yeah, playing keep away isn't that hard to do, but like, it's a huge time sink just to like sit here and run in circles. Oh, Snow Hush, sorry, I didn't see your chat. I thought it was Spruce Knight. Tristanese does have a big field of ghost eyes. Yes, it does. It's, isn't it behind the, like, fortress or whatever that has all the ghosts in it? That was kind of the problem, is, as an archer start, that fortress was kind of impossible. I couldn't do any ethereal damage, and I didn't really have any elemental things. That you can buy poison arrows from the blacksmith, but otherwise you have to find fire arrows or like hopefully find ethereal ones, but I don't know if you can actually find ethereal arrows. And, you know, trap-wise, you really only have spike traps because you can't use pressure plate ones until you get the skill from Levant. And there aren't any, like, craftable bows, or you can't craft ethereal arrows. That's kind of one of the complaints I have about archery in this game, is that arguably a bow's strongest thing in this game is its elemental damage, being able to apply, you know, frost and fire and all that, and they didn't give you any way of crafting those until this DLC, which is a little annoying. Archers are hard countered by ghosts. Yes they are. I struggled pretty bad. It was one of those things of jump shot, sniper shot, wait for cooldowns, jump shot, sniper shot, wait for cooldowns. And it's one of those things where it's like, why isn't there an option for an archer to have a way to fight ghosts through an elemental source, arrow or bow, other, you know, or something? Like, it would have been great, like, early game in that region, they have the lightning mantises. It would have been awesome if I could have, like, farmed them and made, like, the simple lightning bow. Just, like, not really any better than your standard bow, but it does lightning damage as part of its damage instead of just physical. Then it would have been like, okay, now it might not be amazing, and there's not really that many sources of lightning in that early part of the game, but it's an element. And I would have had to farm the mantises with a bow for a while before I could get that. There's just kind of nothing in that region for archers. There's no trainer, there's really no bow upgrade. You know, I can't make a recurve or warbow. So it's like, what do I do? Leave. I left the Chersonese region after getting to the magic ley line and deciding I'll get a little bit just so that I have mana. And then I left and went to Enmerkar and found the bow trainer, and that was kind of my main region where I farmed up a little bit of money, and then I went over to Levant and mained Levant, did every dungeon and everything. That was kind of what I had to do. These levers don't do anything. I don't know how to make them do something either. Archery was an oversight. You have to turn to mods for archery gameplay. Yeah, and I never mod my games for first playthrough. So this being my first playthrough of this game, you know, I didn't want to mod it. It's just one of those things where it feels like it was incomplete because it kind of was incomplete, and I wonder why it released that way. It's passable, like it works, but it really does feel like it feels bad as a person who really likes bow gameplay. In general, I love to play every fantasy or otherwise medieval, whatever you want to call it, game with a bow. And it feels bad when a game doesn't really support my playstyle because, oh, well, that's just the sniping thing. You just do that from range, and then when they get close, use a sword. I get it, but I mean, what if I like, what if I said that about like magic? Oh, magic's cool, but you know, everything, like cold magic will suck on anything that's resistant to the ice because you're in the mountains, so just don't use cold magic. Well, no, you can use it. And there are other types of magic to support it, because cold will do, like, slow, and then that can allow you to prep something else, or you can drink potions. You know, it kind of works. Archery just doesn't really have that synergy. I'm a hoarder. I know half the stuff I picked up is probably worth nothing, but I want it. Technically, this weighs a little less, so we'll do this. And we'll do the slow run of shame back to New Sirocco and go from there. We can stomach using Speedster melee, unlocks archery more because of all the cooldown reduction, but it still doesn't solve the lack of elemental damage for bows. Yeah, like... What sort of annoys me about fantasy games in general is that they have this opinion that a bow is only long range, and that if you're gonna be the bow, like, oh my god, hi, you scared the crap out of me. Forgot about these guys. Hello. Ow. Okay, time to drop the pack. Forgot I didn't take those guys out. What? We're kind of in an unfortunate situation here because I'm cornered now. Get up. Stupid gargoyles. Wow, I have really put myself in a bad situation. My loot goblining is killing me. Oh my god. No. You know what would be really great is if you guys decided that the Myrmitars would be your new enemy. That you would really like to fight them instead of me. We'll go in here and heal for a second. And then I'm gonna have to try to get out of that situation somehow. Anyway, I don't know if I finished my thought. The bow stuff. They always want you to be the rogue. They always want you to have the daggers or a sword or something, a short sword for your backup combat. That you're going to be the stealthy one, that you're going to do all this stuff. Like, man, come on. Let me live my Legolas fantasy. Let me jump on the back of something and shoot it in the back of the neck with 3 arrows. Let me hop and skip and do all this other fun stuff. I don't want to just be, like, the archer guy who poisons the thing while everybody else has fun. Like, oh, I'm gonna get hit. I didn't get my bag. Because this thing's in the way. Bro, enough. I will answer your question in just a second. Sorry, gotta grab my stuff. Okay. Hopefully we can use some terrain here to our advantage and get away. Can I just... Okay. Snail is fighting the Myrmitar? Okay, cool. Alright, I think I need to go that way. Did it win? All right, we need to reevaluate our situation. Definitely want the bow. Militia boots are probably worth something, judging as how all the other militia weapons are worth a lot. Scrolls probably aren't worth much. Don't want to drop the petrified wood or the obsidian if I can help it. Probably don't need this, though. And the mantis granite, probably not. And then we just need to, like, not be in combat, and we'll be fine. Let's see. Oh, hey, Panzer. Welcome. Are there fantasy games that you feel nailed the bow gameplay? My go-to class is always Ranger, but the game I felt like nailed Archer gameplay was an old school game. I don't know what MUD stands for. Sorry. But a good game that does archery well. It's tough to say because it depends on what you're looking for out of archery, but if you want that fast style, you know, Legolas inspired archery, I don't think there's really a lot out there that does that. What I've heard is Dragon's Dogma 2 had really good archery, and I did see a little bit of it, and it does seem to do some of that. Unfortunately, Dragon's Dogma 2 got a little bit abandoned, though there is rumor, or not really rumor, but they apparently have announced that there's another DLC. So it's not entirely all hope lost, but I heard archery in that game is really good. Dragon's Dogma 1 is one of the most basic games you can play. So I don't think archery in that game's that crazy, but I didn't play archery in that one as much as I wanted to. For that playthrough, I decided that I was gonna do I was gonna kind of recreate one of my D&D characters in that game, and while he is a ranger, and like literally the class ranger in D&D, he uses a great bow, and there's no great bow in that game. So using a tiny puny little bow with he's a Goliath. If you know anything about D&D, Goliaths are like the largest medium creature you can have. You kind of can't play any other type of character that's considered, you know, human size. And so I homebrewed some stuff with my DM. We got a great bow. It feels great. I wasn't going to give that character a tiny little bow. I made him like 8 feet tall in Dragon's Dogma as well. So, you know, I wasn't going to like, yeah, here's this rinky-dink little simple bow for you. It just wouldn't have felt right for him. So I made him a two-handed, whatever. Skyrim archery is good, but I wouldn't say it fits the Legolas gameplay. You know, you can do bow combat. It's drawing the bow back and shooting the person in the face with a chance to paralyze if you're 100. If you mod it, there might be some cool stuff. Other than that, it's sneak archery. It's sniping somebody from across the map and hoping you kill them, which in a lot of cases you do when you have the highest tier bow with the highest tier arrow with the enchantments. But and not that it doesn't happen earlier, like you can sometimes one-shot bandits with like not the hunter bow, but like basically the game's recurve bow, because they have a longbow, but it's like a hunting longbow, and then they have like the Imperial bow and some other stuff. Basically a steel quality, which is like one above the, you know, baseline quality of the game. If you have that plus a steel arrow, you can one-shot some bandits. But as you level up, that will be less and less true, as is the case with all things. So yeah, the idea of the massive archer, they're always a little guy in games, big guys shoot tree trunks at targets, sounds fun. Dark Souls. He was inspired by some of the Dark Souls stuff. Dark Souls doesn't have the best gameplay for bow, but it was inspired by one of the characters, because Dark Souls has great bows. Great bows are bigger than your character in Dark Souls. Same with Elden Ring. They are taller than your player character. You anchor them into the ground and you shoot something the size of your arm as an arrow. It's amazing. But the gameplay is kind of Even in Elden Ring, where they have all the fancy movement tech of being able to jump shot and whatever, at the end of the day, Elden Ring treats bows like a status building thing, and your standard bow just isn't that good for that. If you want to do a status build and you're doing an archer gameplay as somebody who's beaten Elden Ring using only a bow, including the DLC, which is very difficult, you're using the repeating crossbow because you're firing 3 bolts at once in a volley, which applies the status effect much faster than firing 1 arrow at a time. It's unfortunate that a game as awesome as Elden Ring has had basically the same bow combat since Dark Souls 1, but now you can jump. In Dark Souls 3, they had rolling shot. That's not even a thing in Elden Ring. You have jump shot, and you have, like, your skills that you can do. Your weapon arts, or whatever they call them. Ashes of War, but they're really not that great.
Is there something you need?
So, yeah. Yeah, these are only worth 60. I mean, that's still money, but not really worth. Militia boots are worth 90. Hats worth nothing, basically. Knuckles are worth 90. That's good to know. Cleaver halberd, 75. These staves are 75 each. Okay. I'm sure I could craft something with the militia gear, but for now, it's all about selling it. These aren't really worth much, but also don't weigh much. This doesn't weigh that much. This weighs a lot and isn't worth that much, but is used for crafting. Beetles I don't care about. Iron spikes I'm keeping for my arrows. Obsidian I'm not selling. Greasy ferns don't care. Ruby. Sapphire. Tiny aquamarine. Mana stones. Hackmanite. I think I've made what I wanted to make with Hackmanite. So I'll probably just sell that. Thick oil, same thing. And then he's got to have gold, right? Right. There we go. So, yeah, my D&D character, Goliath with Great Bow. The way we homebrewed it is there is a... In D&D, there are firearms, but my understanding, and I don't know that much because I've only played, like, 3 characters ever, and 1 didn't last very long, and the other 2 I've been playing a long time, but didn't vary into firearms. Anyway, my understanding is that they leave a little bit to be desired. They do great damage, but they're kind of a single-use thing. So one of the homebrew materials we have added a weapon they call the Thunder Cannon, which is a massive, use all of your, like... Oh, crap, I didn't mean to drink that. I don't know why. I thought I was still at a shop. It does, like, massive damage. It's like, I don't know, 3d10 damage or something. Something like that. But is, you know, hulking and slow and whatever. I don't remember it. So my DM and I worked together to come up with an idea of, like, how can we incorporate this into a ranger class? Because rangers are known as the archer class, but they also are somewhat martial, and they have things like extra attack. Well, it really sucks if, you know, the thing we're basing off of, the great bow is based off of a firearm. It initially had a, you fire this shot once, and because it's so slow, you only get to fire your bow once. I'm like, well, then what do I do with my extra attack that the game gives me? It was like, oh, well, then you could just melee something. I'm like, that defeats the point of being an archer. Like, I want to shoot the bow that I made, that I worked with you on. I don't care when I get this bow. It might take me, you know, whatever, a year of playing the game before I get this bow. But we're talking about it in theory. What would we do? I don't want to be an archer that fires one shot and then swings the sword, because just, if you don't know anything about D&D, mechanic-wise, you have disadvantage on attacks if you're within 5 feet of an opponent. And so, but you have to be within 5 feet most of the time for meleeing. So my build would have been fire my bow, then run up to the guy and smack him. That doesn't feel good. So we worked on it and we found a way to incorporate it, and it's a lot of fun now. We have, what we ended up doing was that it fires one shot. If you decide to do the special shot that, like, you know, consumes everything and you don't want to do your extra attack, it gets to get extra damage and consumes your extra attack for you. So essentially, you don't get 2 attacks, you get 1. You hope your 1 hits, but if it hits, you do massive damage. I didn't mean to do that. Why did I do that? Dang it. I meant to do the opposite of that. And I was talking and not thinking, so. But it's a very fun character. I have a lot of fun with him. But that's unfortunately the gimmick he has and the only thing he's got going for him at the moment. Everything else I had for him built just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Okay, so I need to start more construction in this town. And I finally have some more money, which money isn't necessarily a problem, but food is. And while this place is making money slowly, it's not making
How
food.
can I help you?
So I would like to exchange my gold ingots and exchange my silver mostly. What if they can't really build without food. So I guess I have to get food. But before I do that,
So, what are we working on today?
I need to build something. How about a hunting lodge? Generates how much food? 15 food for the settlement each day. Well, that's not enough to really support it, but there is an upgrade. I'm assuming you can't just make... I'm assuming the upgrades, I don't actually know, but I'm assuming the upgrades, you actually have to build the base thing first, and then you can build the upgrade on top of it. I don't think I have any other blueprints on me, so I'll buy the hunting hall, and then I would like to upgrade it eventually to hunting guild. Ad break coming up. All I'm gonna do is building stuff, see if I can figure out where I'm gonna put this hunting hall. Doesn't appear that you can actually build down here. Maybe a house. Elden Ring with just bows sounds terrifying. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, but definitely difficult. But thanks for stopping by anyway. I'm actually gonna end up going here soon myself because I have holiday stuff for US Independence Day stuff, so I was streaming early today. I don't normally stream. I usually start my streams at this time instead of ending them at this time. So I've been going for a little over 3 hours. Not as long as I really wanted to go, but I don't have much more time myself, so we've started construction on that, and next session will be me trying to get that finished and hopefully get the next stage of this quest done. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. I know I'm ending it kind of abruptly, but I just looked at the time and yeah, it's a good time to stop anyway. So bye-bye. See you later. Have fun with your weekends, and I will be back on Monday, noon Eastern.